Excuse me. Is there a new main channel video? People said watch Jesus. I assume you meant that one. I actually want to watch that, bro. Because, chat, I have some Kato 14. So if the Kato 14 market is dying, then GG well played me. Let's have a look.
After something like the Dragon Lore, the Kato 2014 stickers are probably the most famous type of item ever added to CSGO.
True.
Commanding absolutely bonkers price tags, they've always been the go-to in order to prove that you're rich in the community. Want to prove that you're hot shit? Just keep $1 million of Katos on hand. The guy who most famously did something like this was Luna, who proudly proclaimed he was in it for the long haul. This was in early 2021, but then something unexpected happened. For the first time in a very long time, Kato stickers took a hit. Luna cashed out, taking one of the most hilarious L's anyone has ever taken in the history of the game. And
let me make it a little bit louder. A little bit. Album.
Ever since, Kato prices have been kind of flat. I mean, don't get me wrong, they haven't gone down. Quite a few of them have actually inched upwards, or at least recovered to their 2021 highs. But this is in the context of basically everything else on the entire market at least doubling in price compared to everything else. This part of the market has been kind of dead. But why? What happened to the golden child of the CSGO market? Well, let's have a look. Now, this video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. Check out SkinsMonkey to quickly and easily trade your CSGO skins. Use the code ZEUS to get up to $5
I've never used this site. Are you guys actually using it?
Extra on your first trade, as well as a bonus when depositing. Link is in the description. Check it out today.
No.
Now, prior to going flat in 2021, Katos did incredible stuff. Famously, the iBuy Power Holo would go from about $2,000 in mid-2018 to about $50,000 only 3 years later. And even with its slump, it is still one of the most incredible performers in the history of the game. But the stickers also aren't quite as rare as people think. Although there's only 40 tradable iBuy Powers listed on Cantry's tracker tool, the truth is, the real supply out there is probably 10 times as much, although that is not a sign these things are in a bubble either. Remember, the price had to get this high.
I just finished my just got my first knife. I'm not very into the game. I think it's a fire and ice, but I don't know. Steam name is OG Purse. I'll check afterwards, okay?
With all those stickers already out.
No, I'm not checking. If it's red and blue, and just red and blue, you got a fire and ice Majula.
There in the first place.
Just Google fire and ice guide. And then just check up your pattern index, easy peasy.
And in terms of owners, it's rich Gamba guys, rich Chinese guys, and rich non-Chinese guys who own most of the stickers. So the common factor being they tend to be rich.
Where's me? I own a couple. Come on, man.
Now, the reason these things are so popular with rich people is that they make spending massive amounts of money quick and easy. Your dollars might be easy to come by, but your time is finite, and Katos solve that problem. But if rich people are also the driving force, what's led them to back off? At the end of the day, prices are just a matter of supply and demand. So there's either too many stickers or not enough buyers, or a combination of both. And while it may be a combination of both, the big issue at the moment seems to be demand. One of the reasons Kato stickers became so expensive is because people kept slapping them on weapons. Generally, for increasing the ridiculous prices. But if we look at the stats on the publicly known craft since 2021, there's been a precipitous decline. Based on the spreadsheet managed by CSGO, CSGO's most tragic RMR investor, there was 57 publicly known Kato 2014 holocrafts in 2021, but only 34 publicly known Kato 2014 holocrafts in 2022, and only 11 publicly known Kato 2014 holocrafts so far during 2023.
That's not too bad.
And this year's crafts are also pretty cheap ones.
Oh shit, yeah, that's pretty bad. It's all like non-holo. Oh, sorry, not non-holo. I guess it's just holo, but it's just like 1x, you know? 4x 3D Max. We got complexity 4x. Yeah.
Well, that is a pretty steep drop-off, and is probably being caused by a significant decrease in the number of new skins being added to the game since 2021.
Yeah.
Players generally like their Kato 2014 holocrafts to be unique because that greatly increases their value when there's only one of them versus like 50. That's why Kato crafts and blue laminates are so cheap, because there are so many blue laminates out there with Kato stickers on them. So the release of new
That is true. That is true. I've had so many times the discussion with Chinese collectors where they were buying a Kato sticker off me, or I was buying one of them, or whatever. And they always said, like, I was like, hey, what are you gonna craft? Like if they bought it off me. And then they said, I don't know yet. I will probably wait until the next case and see what's inside, you know? But now, I don't know, we haven't really gotten a lot of skins this year. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense.
Skins tends to provide big incentives for players to make crafts. But since 2021, we've had a grand total of 1 new collection and 3 new cases. That is not a lot of opportunities to make new crafts.
That's nothing.
And this is probably part of the reason for the big drop off in crafts, and as a result, the slowdown in Kato sticker prices. In fairness, the Chinese scene as a whole also seems to have slowed down a bit too over the past 2 years, which probably isn't helping either, but regardless, this seems to be a major factor. But I think another factor we do have to consider is simply something called mean reversion. Now, if you don't know what mean reversion means, don't worry, this should still make sense anyway. Stickers like the Ibo Power and Titan Hollows increased in price 25-fold between 2018 and 2021. In fact, it was probably more than that. This drastically outpaced most other things in the community, and definitely any comparable skins like the Dragon Lore and the Howl. And when something, beats the market as much as this, it becomes increasingly hard for it to keep up the momentum. If the stickers increase in price 5 times as much as everything else, well, there's 5 times the monetary incentive for people holding these things to cash out their investments. And it also means any potential fall or market correction could be 5 times as hard. And
But if you take like the market cap of M4 Alpha Howls or Orb Dragon Laws compared to, like, there are only like, what, 80 Titan Holos or whatever, Sure, they may be selling for 60k or whatever, but there's so many Howls, there's so many Orb Dragon Laws. The amount of money that has to be spent on it, that it moves at times 25, is so much less than for if the Howl would move times 25,
It's also 5 times as expensive for the item to keep going up in price. And this is probably what Katos have been dealing with. They outstripped the rest of the market so much that they kind of ended up in limbo for a while as demand stabilized and everything else caught up. It's a basic law of markets that things tend to revert to the mean, and while Katos are still overperformers, it shouldn't be a surprise that something like this eventually weighed them down. And to that end, it's also worth noting that it's a rule of markets that if something has underperformed for the last couple of years, often it'll overperform in the next couple of years. Katos do kind of fit that description at the moment. That's not financial advice, and this is not a normal market, so that can't be taken for granted. However, the fact that the last couple of years for Katos have been kind of bad is actually a good indicator for their future.
Please, bro. Yeah, I need them to look good in CS2, bro. They need to look spicy in CS2, man. Because right now, if in CS2, then we are not talking, right? Like, I don't know. Right now, it still feels a little bit off. I don't know, man. We will have to see, bro. Time will tell. Time will tell. Guys,